Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. MrAyrit here. Got another headphone review for you today, or headset review. This one is for the Drop Sennheiser PC38x. So we're gonna dig into this. I've been kind of messing around with open back headphones, trying to pick out like just what I want to keep with my home theater setup to use with my PS5 on a regular basis, and thought this one might be it, but it's not. So why is that? Let's talk about it, and I'll give you some other options that I think, at least for me, were better. So first thing let's talk about is the 38x. Comes in a very nondescript box, which is fine. I don't really care about packaging all that much. It is fairly well accessorized. So you of course get the headset. You get a couple of cables, talk about those more here in a second. A couple sets of pads, talk about those here again in a second too. And you get just kind of like a little carry bag if you want to use it. I don't usually use those things, but it's there if you want it. So cable wise, you get a shorter, this is about a 4-foot one, and it is a 4-pin 3.5. So this is like what you'd plug into, you know, your PS5, Xbox controller, things like that, that would give you voice and audio function. Or you plug it into like your phone if you want to use it for a headset too, or probably like a laptop type of a port. It would work for that too. You also get a longer, this one's about maybe like an 8-foot cable, and this has the PC gaming, like kind of typical 3.5 mic and audio. Both of these, it's a 2.5 that goes into the headphones, and it's kind of like a little proprietary plug. It does just kind of plug right up in there. No issues with that at all. This cable is about 8 feet. I like that you've got a couple of different options here, and the material is good too. It's like it's a cloth. It's kind of stiff, but you know, it feels good. I like the cables that come with this, and I appreciate it that it comes with two. I also really appreciate that it comes with 2 sets of pads. So the ones that I've got on it, and the ones that I preferred for gaming at least, are these kind of velour. This would be like your I would call these like your kind of your typical Sennheiser pads. So kind of like a velour type material on them. And then they're a little bit thicker, and then you get these other pads which are kind of more reminiscent of something like the Schipp 95, 9600, so it's more of just like a cloth pad. These made it a little bit duller, a little bit wider, a little bit warmer sounding, and for gaming I really didn't like that. But for music it was okay. These velour pads, they definitely improved clarity and imaging, and they made things a little bit, brought things a little bit more forward, and I definitely think it images better with these velour pads on it. So if you're gonna game with them, that's the only way I would do it. And then maybe for music listening, I think maybe these other pads are they just make it kind of a laid back, easy listening headphone. But again, you're gonna be missing out on some clarity and stuff there. But we'll talk more about that when we get into the sound portion of the video. But let's talk about like just the general kind of styling and build of the headphones here first. So kind of a unique, right, colorway. It's this gold, kind of yellowy gold color instead of your typical, you know, like green or red or blue gaming headset stuff. I like it. Of course, I'm an Iowa Hawkeye, so I'm a University of Iowa alum, so you know, black and gold, that's kind of my jam. So they're kind of like a Hawkeye gaming headset, which, you know, probably doesn't appeal to most people, but you know, if you're a Hawkeye fan. I always liked this microphone setup to where basically, if you don't know how these headsets works, and this is like the PC37x, which I owned for a little while too, is when you have it up here, you can probably hear that click as I bring it down, and that turns it on and off. So if you flip it up, it turns the microphone off, which is just a really cool feature. The other thing that you're gonna notice here is, oh, where's it at? It's on the other side. There's a volume wheel on the headphone here. And I really like that because, especially with if you're using it with like a PS5 controller or something like that, like you can kind of like fine tune the audio a little bit, because it's not always real easy to do that when it's running through like a controller or something like that. So I like all those features. Again, it's the headphone cable just comes in right there. Build is very, very plasticky. I wouldn't say it's the highest quality build in the world. The build is very reminiscent of the other Sennheiser 500, like 569, 599, 560S. It's all very similar to that as far as build and feel of the headphones. Unfortunately, what that means is they do have a pretty tight clamp on them, and the pads on these specifically are not as big as like the 5.8x, the 6XX, the 660S. Those pads, these are a little bit tighter, and so my ear kind of touches the inside of the driver, definitely with these other pads they do, and it touches the inside of the pads a lot. So they feel like a tight, just if I was gonna describe their fit in one way, it'd be tight. Tight on the ears, tight on the head, all that stuff, and I have a pretty small head. That being said, these would probably be a pretty good option for younger gamers. So if you're, 10, 11, 12, 13, looking for a gaming headset, I think these would fit you fine. If you have a bigger head, I don't know how well these things would work out for you. That's pretty much it for build. I mean, it's fine, is what it comes down to. It's plastic, but it seems well built. All Sennheiser stuff is plastic, but all of it is pretty well built. So I don't think you have anything to really worry about in that regard. Now, sound-wise, this is where I've got some more gripes with this headphone, and it's mainly because this has a lot of bass in it, and I didn't find the imaging particularly good on these. It's very much a right and left. I didn't get like a 360-degree sound. I was very much disappointed because I've heard other reviewers say that these sound like huge and they're, great gaming and imaging and all that stuff. I don't know. I wasn't impressed with them. Like I said, for music listening with these other pads, it's kind of a chill experience. It's all right. It's not unpleasant, but it also, I don't feel like you're getting like a great amount of clarity even for the money here. I would say it sounds, with these cloth pads, it actually sounds very reminiscent of the Shure 9600 in that it's like warm and wide and very much right and left, and a laid back listening experience. The problem with that is like it doesn't equate to very like sharp imaging. I found the imaging to be pretty hazy in gaming, and I couldn't pinpoint stuff with these on. Now, put on the velour pads, and that changes a little bit because it brings those upper frequencies back a little bit more, and it definitely improved the imaging to an acceptable level, I would say. I still, this definitely isn't my favorite by any means, and I feel like, so right now I have on hand, I have the DT880 250 ohm, I have the Audio-Technica AD700X, and I've got the Hifiman HE560 that I've all kind of used for gaming quite a bit, like trying those different ones out, and I would take any of them over the PC38x, to be honest with you. For any of them, for comfort, for sound, for imaging, for gaming, all of them I would take over this headphone. So can't really recommend it. I mean, I guess if you really, really need the built-in microphone, these are gonna do that, and they're gonna do that fairly well. I can even, let me even do like a quick microphone test here for you, just so you can hear what it sounds like. Okay, so I am recording this audio that you're hearing now. This is just being fed straight into my iPad through the Voice Memos app, so this is a good idea of what you could expect for sound quality coming out of this headphone. I've always thought these Sennheiser headsets sound pretty good microphone-wise. Again, it's the audio reproduction that I have a problem with. Who's this headphone for? If you're a gamer, you need the microphone, maybe it's for you. If you're a younger gamer and you don't mind the tight fit and you don't have huge ears, it might be for you. If you want a fairly wide, warm, tilting but not, doesn't need to be super clear sound when you're listening to music. These might be for you. For me, they missed the mark a little bit here, and so did the PC. I do think I would take these over the PC37x any day. I thought across the board they kind of did better than those, but I really didn't like those when I had them. So yeah, I don't know, not for me. It does drive fairly easily, so I mean you can easily run it off of like a PS5 controller or something like that, which is a bonus for it, or off of a phone, which again is good, or straight out of like a laptop or something, which is good. But again, for me, they don't do it for me. So the ones I would recommend if you're looking at this price range: DT880, DT990 if you want a little more bass, a little more sparkle. The AD700X, if it's just for gaming, I need to review that one, but I actually need to review both those headphones, but that one the imaging is phenomenal on that just for gaming. I don't think it's as good for music and stuff like that, and it's definitely not built as well. But right now, my favorite gaming pick is the Hifiman HE560, which I reviewed and compared to the Harmonic Dyne Zeus in a couple episodes, or the last episode of the show. So if you want to check that out, go check it out. Links in the description. If you found this useful, subscribe. Questions, comments, drop them down below. Thank you for watching and being here with me, and I will see you in the next one.